Okay, so before we start talking about being more intentional with your time, I did want to share a frugal tip of the week. I always do that if the topic we're talking about this week is not specifically a frugal topic, so that way there's always some frugal aspect to each episode. So this week's frugal tip of the week is just to consider each week when you're doing your grocery shopping. If you have a week where your budget, where you come in under budget, say, I don't know, say you budget $150 a week for groceries and you come in at like 135 for whatever reason, you already had a lot of meat at home, you didn't really need to buy that much, or something was on sale, so it cost less than you expected, or whatever. The frugal tip that I wanted to share is to always try and consider, is there something else that you can buy that you're going to need, like definitely need. You don't want to just buy random stuff that you may or may not need, but something that you're definitely going to need in the near future, that you can use to spend that money on, rather than just buy like some extra snacks or extra whatever, like whatever else you might wind up spending the money on. So like, for example, maybe like dishwasher detergent, toilet paper, extra meat that you would use in upcoming weeks, just things like that, like something practical that you know is going to get used. It just kind of feels good to buy those things ahead of time, and then you wind up having, if you have a week in the future where maybe things cost a little bit more, you wind up coming in on budget because you already pre-purchased some of those other things, so you don't need to buy them later. So just a thought, just try and consider that on any weeks when you might feel like you have a little bit of extra money left over in your weekly grocery budget on what you want to use that money for. So, okay, so let's talk about being more intentional with your time. So the reason it's important to be intentional with your time is because it just doesn't feel good to have a day go by and feel like you wasted the day. And I don't mean a day when you intentionally chose to just have a day off and rest, and maybe you were like, okay, today I'm just gonna watch movies and read a book and just kind of chill out all day. I need to relax. And that is being intentional with your time. If you chose that that's what I'm going to do today and that's what you do, that's being intentional. So that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about the days when you might kind of just wander around aimlessly. You're not really doing much of anything. Maybe you're scrolling on Facebook here or there. Maybe you're stopping for a few minutes to sit on the couch and see what's on the TV. And then maybe you wander over and do some dishes, and you're just kind of like going through the day, but like no real intention in mind. Sometimes that happens to me. Say if I have like a long weekend, like I have like a few days off, I took off like a Friday, or I took off a Friday and a Monday, and I'm like, oh, I have the whole weekend, I have so much time. And then I'll wind up like not really doing much of anything because I don't have like any time frame to get stuff done. And I just feel like I have this long weekend and I could just kind of do whatever. And then sometimes I'll feel like kind of crappy at the end because I'm like, that whole weekend went by and I didn't really do anything, even fun stuff, even sitting and watching a movie, even doing anything. I just kind of wandered around and kept thinking, oh yeah, I'll do that later because I have so much time. And it can just easily happen. So by just putting a little bit of planning and effort into those times when you have time to do stuff, it feels really good to know that you spent your day well, and you did what you wanted to do with it, and you didn't just kind of let it get away from you. And like I said, the goal of being more intentional with your time is not trying to accomplish as many things as you possibly can in a day. It's really just about being more intentional with your time and making sure that you're doing the things that you want to do with your time so that you can feel good about what you did when that day is over. So if you do have some time off, like I was saying, where you have like maybe a long weekend or even just a regular weekend day, and you don't want to just kind of waste it and not really have a plan for it, just kind of think of a plan for what you want to do for each day. And it doesn't have to be like this strict, rigid plan with like specific, a whole bunch of different time frames. But just think about like, what do I want to do today? Is it a day where I just want to catch up on housework, or is it a day where I want to do something fun? Maybe you want to go to a park or go see a movie. Maybe you're going to be reorganizing a closet, sorting through seasonal clothes, or maybe making appointments. Maybe you have some doctor's appointments that you need to make, or some home repair appointments that need to be made. Maybe you need to have someone come maintenance something in your home or whatever. Have a plan for those things and what you want to get done that day. Because I know, especially like with me, the phone calls, I don't know why, but I always put them off. I'll have a reminder that says like, make annual doctor's appointment. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. And then the next day, the reminder will pop up, make annual doctor's appointment. Oh yeah, I'll do that next week. And it's such a simple thing to do. It's just like, okay, why don't I just do this today, instead of feeling like, oh, I have so much time to do that, I'll do that later. So just kind of decide, like, on that given day, like, what are some of the things you want to do? And like I said, it doesn't have to be a gazillion things. You don't have to get so many things done, and you don't have to get anything done. It could be fun stuff. Like I said, it could be watching movies, it could be going out for the day, anything. But it's just avoiding that kind of mindless wandering through your day and not really doing much of anything at all. So one tip for being more mindful being more intentional with your time is to designate a time to do something. Like I was saying before, a lot of times having all day to get something done can cause you to procrastinate, because you feel like you just have this indefinite amount of time and you could do it in a little while because you've got so much time, it doesn't really matter. But if you really want to do something, set a time slot to do it in, just like you would do if you had an appointment. It could be a chore that you want to get done. It could be something fun you want to do. I mean, like, I know, for example, a lot of times I always say to the kids, like, oh, we should play board games this weekend, or play a board game or whatever. And if we don't have a certain time when we're going to do that, so many times the day comes to an end, I'm tired, I don't want to play anymore, and we just don't do it. But if we say, okay, as soon as dinner's over, we're going to play a board game. So, like, don't anyone go anywhere. As soon as we put the plates away, we're going to play a board game. It'll happen because there's like a specific time when it's going to happen, and it happens because you're planning for it. If you just kind of say, oh, we should do this or we should do that, many times the day will just go by and it won't happen, because you just tend to feel like you have more time than you actually do, and then before you know it, the day gets away from you. So just if you can, try and designate a time for something particular that you wanted to get done that day or that you want to do. Also, be sure to prioritize what you want to get done and pick a realistic number of tasks. Like, maybe try and pick like the first 2 or 3 most important things to you that you can reasonably get done in that day. Like, don't pick 3 major tasks that take like huge amounts of time and you're going to be going crazy trying to accomplish them all. Pick 3 important tasks, some of your top priorities, that you can reasonably accomplish within that day. And then keep your focus on those tasks only and try to put everything else out of your mind. Because sometimes what can happen is when you have like this huge to-do list and you're trying to think of all these different things you want to get done, it's distracting, and it keeps you from keeping a good focus on what you're currently working on, because you can only work on one thing at a time. And when you have those other things distracting you, it makes it really difficult to focus on what you're trying to get done, and it really doesn't do anything better to move ahead on those goals because you can't work on them anyway. So just pick a few things that you can realistically get done and really try and put your focus on one of those at a time during the day, and if possible, set time slots for those things so that you can really focus on them. And here's one other thing. Try not to save the thing that you least want to do until last. Just get it done first. Because what happens is you'll have that nagging thing in the back of your mind all day, and it can bring down the way you feel throughout the day and while you're working on other things. Do you ever have like that pit in your stomach where you're like, oh, I really got to get to that, I really got to do that? If at all possible, do that thing first that you don't want to do. just get it over with. It'll give you a feeling of accomplishment. You won't have to be dreading doing it later all day long. It won't be distracting you. And I mean, depending on what it is, I always find that the vast majority of the time, it doesn't wind up being that bad anyway. And so many times I'll say, okay, why the heck did I wait so long to get this done? It was like nothing. It was so easy. So just get it done first and get it out of the way. And you'll feel so good that you did anyway, because it was something that you needed to do but didn't really want to do. And if you just get it done and get it out of the way, you'll have a great feeling of accomplishment already starting the day, and then you'll be more motivated to stick to the rest of your plans that you have already laid out for the rest of the day. Plan your free time. I think I actually have a whole separate episode on this topic because it's really important and it's part of being intentional with your time. So plan your free time and what you're going to do with it. It could be a portion of the day, it can be the entire day. It's whatever that you want to do with that day. It's your day. If you want to have a day where your whole day is free time, plan for that. And I don't mean free time in sitting around looking at social media or just kind of randomly having something on in the background on TV. It's planning for something relaxing or fun that you want to do for yourself. If you're going to watch TV, find something that you've really wanted to watch. Find a movie that you've really wanted to watch. Maybe there's a TV series on Netflix that you've been wanting to see. Don't just kind of sit there flipping around and just kind of getting up and going and getting a snack, and maybe you go like fold some laundry and come back and kind of sit down again. Like, plan for what you want to do. If you want to watch a movie, say maybe you want to watch a movie after lunch, to say, okay, at 2 o'clock, I'm going to watch this movie. And if you have family around, like, ask them if they want to come watch the movie with you. Or maybe you want to read a book, sit down and read the book. Like, plan for what you want to do. If you want to go out, maybe to a park, maybe you want to go shopping, whatever. It's more about like taking that free time that you're having where you're not doing housework or work or anything like that. And you want to make sure that you're going to enjoy what you're doing in that time and not just kind of sit around and mindlessly waste the time. So it's really important to do that, to plan your free time and what you're going to do with it. And then also, don't say yes to every invite you get. You definitely want to go to the things that are important to you. You don't want to say no to everything, but you have to really kind of limit, depending on the amount of invites you get, and depending on, sometimes this happens more often when you have younger children. You get invited to so many different birthday parties, and you can run. I remember when my kids were younger, sometimes we'd have a birthday party in the morning and a birthday party in the afternoon, or they'd have like soccer in the morning and a birthday party in the afternoon, and then the next day maybe they had like another activity, and it was just crazy. And you have to sometimes just say no to things that don't fit in your schedule, because when you have no free time for yourself, it makes it really stressful and impossible to have any time for anything that you want to do, whether that's working on your goals or having some time to relax. You just need like that time in your calendar to be able to do something that you want to do. And when you block up the schedule and then you wind up having something really important that needs to be done, it gets really stressful because you don't have anywhere it can even reasonably fit in your calendar. So when you get an invite to something, as much as you might want to just say yes to everything, really look at your calendar and consider if you really can do it and if it's really important to you. Sometimes if it's really important to you, you just make it work anyway. But if it's something that's not really that important, maybe consider not going and saying that you had already had something planned that day. Like, you really can have something planned. Like, put on your calendar, say if you wanted to spend a day, I don't know, sorting through your paperwork that you have and getting rid of paperwork that you don't need to keep anymore, or whatever. You have put that on your calendar and say, I'm doing this that day. And then if you get an invite for that day, just say that you already were planning to do something that day. And like I said, of course, if it's something that's really important to you, then you would reschedule that for another day. But just really think about how you fill up your calendar, and if you're leaving yourself enough time to do the things that you want to work on, or giving yourself time for relaxing. Also another way to kind of take advantage of being more intentional with your time is to take advantage of waiting time. Like if you're sitting at the doctor's office, you could do something like read a digital book, do some meal planning. Like maybe you carry a planner. You could carry like a planner or like a little notebook that you could have in your purse. You can make a to-do list. Instead of just kind of sitting there and maybe looking through the magazines, or, you know, maybe if you want to read an article, that's fine. But I mean, it wasn't likely that you were intending for your day that you wanted to sit and read a magazine article in the doctor's office. So, you know, just take that time and do something that you want to spend your time on. I have the Kindle app on my phone, so I always have my book that I'm currently reading always accessible on my phone, so I could just open up the Kindle app and read while I'm sitting in the doctor's office. Or a lot of times what I'll do is a lot of times my daughters want to go shopping to Target, and they'll just kind of be wandering around. It's with their own money. They're buying whatever stuff they want to buy while we're there. And I don't really want to go shopping, and I'm not really a huge fan of walking around Target for like an hour like they are. So I used to get kind of like, every time they'd ask me to go, I'd say, oh my gosh, I don't want to go. I don't want to spend all that time in Target and just kind of walking around and looking at the same things. So what I wound up doing is, because now that I have that Kindle app on my phone, I have the shopping cart, and I just kind of lean on the shopping cart and I walk around with them. But every time they're stopped in an aisle and they're just kind of looking at stuff, I have my book up and I'm just reading. So I'm enjoying reading my book while they're shopping, and it kind of works out. So just think about those times when you might be able to be more intentional with those little bits of time, and maybe read a book or write a shopping list or do some meal planning or anything like that. And it doesn't have to be like waiting in a doctor's office or in a store or something like that, waiting online. It can also be, you know, if you're cooking, maybe you're waiting for water to boil for pasta, or maybe you had to put something in the oven and it's going to take 30 minutes to bake, and you're just kind of in that like waiting time. Or maybe you're cleaning something and you're waiting for the cleaner to soak in on the, you know, the product to soak for a while so that you can then clean whatever it is you're cleaning. All of those little times, you can use those to do like those types of things that I was saying that don't take long amounts of time, or that you can kind of tackle like a little bit here and there. And then when you do have more free time, you don't have to bog it down with those things. You can have more time to get other things done that you want to get done. So that's it. Those are my tips for being more intentional with your time. I hope maybe one or two of these was helpful to you. But just really think about it. It's really important to get the best out of your day and do what you want to do with your time. Because we don't have that much time, and we have to sleep too. So, you know, I'm sure you're like me and you want to get a lot of things done, but you also want to do fun stuff. So just really think about it and plan out your days. And yeah, so that's it for today. Please don't forget to reach out to me. You can reach me on, if you have like any feedback, episode suggestions, anything like that. There's a link to my Facebook page in the show notes. You can also just get there by going to facebook.com/Lola's Frugal Life. You can message me through the messenger on Facebook if you want to send me a direct message. We also have a listeners group, a private listeners group, which is at facebook.com/groups/Lola's Frugal Life. Submit a request to join. I always check it pretty much every day, so I'll admit you right away if you send a request. Sorry if it's getting noisy. My dogs are like going insane. They want to go outside, so like there's all these collars banging and they're jumping on my leg. I was trying to finish real quick before they started going crazy. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the show, and please, if you wouldn't mind leaving me a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever app you listen on, if they allow reviews, it would be much appreciated. It's supposed to really help with the show coming up in search results when people are looking for something similar like this. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a really awesome day.